Okay, Rafaela, we're gonna start now. Okay, hope you're ready. All right. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Zukisa Nante. Welcome to the Equity Revolution podcast. Today, I've got a special guest all the way from Germany. I want to say it. I want to glossalize it, not to Englishize it. What do you call it in English? I have no idea. I'm not English. English is just a language of another man. Ladies and gentlemen, again, today I've got Rafaela. I think I said it correctly. She was very strong about it that I should pronounce her name, which is very good because I think a name is an identity. Today, we're going to talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion, but according to what she wants to talk about. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome and subscribe below. And again, welcome to the Equity Revolution podcast with a special guest all the way from Germany. Hey, how are you?
Hi, thank you for having me here. I'm good. Yeah,
Yes, yes.
I'm a little excited to have this conversation.
That's lovely. Me too, actually. Thank you very much for joining us, and hopefully, you're going to enjoy the conversation. And again, I should announce that we are using Riverside to record this. And should there be any problems, I'm telling you, we're screwed, but it's recording. All right, Rafaela, welcome to the Equity Revolution podcast. And I hope you are enjoying your stay so far, the last 2 minutes that we've been talking. As you already mentioned, you are excited. Did I say it correctly?
Yes, you did say my name correctly, so
All
good job.
right. All right. Rafaela, can you please greet our audiences and ask them to subscribe, please?
Sure. Hi, thank you for listening to the Equity Podcast and welcome. And don't forget to subscribe
Yes, indeed. Below, ladies and gentlemen, subscribe. All right.
below.
Yes. Rafaela, thanks again. I won't stop saying thank you because it's always difficult to find people to conduct a podcast, especially from another country, which is, by the way, just 400 or 300 kilometers away from my home. I would have driven there, but I don't need the stress of the traffic. All right. Rafaela, people who don't know you, can you please introduce yourself to our audiences so that we know who you are?
Sure, yeah, I can do that. I can try.
Please do
My
your
name is
best.
Rafaela, and I was born in Germany. My family is from the Republic of Moldova, and I'm 32 years old, and I'm a coach. I'm an archetypal somatics coach. But before I did that, I was really into math and physics, or I still am into math and physics. But yeah, I studied math and physics at the University of Heidelberg. And after that, I dedicated, you can say dedicated my life to martial arts because after I finished my bachelor's in physics, I started a few jobs. Like a programmer and stuff like that, but it was really not for me. And yeah, like at first I wanted to do a career in physics at university, like an academic career, but yeah, after a while I just felt very sort of, it felt all very narrow. I didn't feel like I could really express in that institution, and it definitely fits our topic because one reason for that was yeah, basically misogyny. I'm not saying that physics in general is, there's a lot of misogyny there, but that has been my experience at that time. Anyways, after that I found martial arts and I started doing kickboxing and BJJ, and now I'm a purple belt in BJJ. So that was like around 2014 when I started, and that was really something where I could express myself, and so I started doing it full time as an athlete, but then also as a coach. And I did a lot of competitions and even MMA fights and a couple of professional MMA fights. And at some point, I had an injury, so I had to stop with like for a while. And in that time, I also had like a big sort of personal and spiritual crisis because when I had an injury and I couldn't move, a lot of stuff came up for me. And in that time is when I decided that I, need coaching, and I got a coach, which was somatic coaching, and that did so much for me and for my way to like evolve. It helped me evolve, so I decided that I want to be a coach. And so yeah, since then I did like a coaching certificate in that same modality, and that's what I do now. So
Wow, 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 wow. That's uh, that's it's like the change from physics to martial arts, injury, coaching. It's a journey.
that's
But
right. That was a good summary.
yes, 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 that sounds like a journey. May I ask, I'm just gonna take you slowly here, just to try and understand. You studied physics and you did work, but that was something that you were like, you need more. It was not enough for you, I suppose.
Yes, I feel I'm a person who I need to do different things. That's something I learned about myself in the last 10 years. When I just do one thing full time, I just kind of don't feel like I can really express myself. And I just feel kind of everything becomes narrow. And yeah, that's something I learned about myself. And I think there are people who maybe are really happy and satisfied who have maybe, let's say, like an academic career that really takes a lot of time, where it's you can have hobbies, but it's maybe you don't, it's just like the majority of your time, and they are happy like that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that's not the way I do things. I'm more like, right now, for example, I do coaching, but I'm also teaching martial arts, and I have a couple of clients in math and physics, and so it's kind of like I do all of these free things. Um, yeah.
I
So
li the martial arts. Is it kickboxing or is it what are you doing in martial arts? Or is it karate
back then or right now?
from the beginning?
Yeah, from the beginning, I started with kickboxing, but then I immediately had the desire to become well-rounded. Like I didn't just want to be good at one level of martial arts, because you can kind of think of it as multiple levels. Like you
Yeah,
can
yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
have the stand-up. Have you ever seen an MMA fight? Then you maybe are familiar with that.
A little bit, but you can tell us those who don't know about it.
Yeah, so there is like the stand-up fight, and then there is the
Ah,
fighting on the ground,
ah,
and then there is the transition.
domina.
Oh, we lost you for a second. I will wait until you're back. You're back.
I'm back. Like I said, I have no idea what is happening, ladies and gentlemen. That's what happens with these things. You start to say that you have a poor connection, it cuts you off, and then it starts again. But we are here. She's here, and she was telling us about the MMO. Sorry that I have to take it back there. Can you please continue there? We're just gonna have what is nice about this program. It keeps on recording. So should I fall again, you can continue, and then I can do the editing, I think, because I see it's still continuing. So, Rafael, yes, please tell us the MMO.
Yeah, so MMA is mixed martial.
MMA. Zukisa
No,
must learn.
no problem.
Continue.
It means mixed martial arts, and so there are like three levels where you can fight. You can fight standing up, that's like kickboxing, and then you can fight on the ground. The most popular fighting style on the ground right now, and the most effective, would be BJJ, Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. which is originated in the ground fight of judo. And then you have the transition from the stand up to the ground, which is judo or wrestling, where you just, the quest is like, how can I throw or how can I get someone to the ground? These are like the three levels in like an MMA fight. And so I started with stand up, but then I very quickly realized that it doesn't feel enough. Like I want to know all of the three areas. So then I also joined like wrestling and BJJ.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wrestling as well.
Yeah,
You
it
want
was in
to,
my gym. It's part of BJJ. Like it's not
yeah.
like I wasn't like part of like a wrestling team who just wrestle, but my coach was my BJJ coach also was a wrestler, so we did learn a lot of wrestling. Yeah.
Lovely. This is good. The funny thing is, I was myself in martial arts in the past, but I only did karate,
Oh, cool.
Gojugai karate.
Which
I
style?
started Gojugai. This is called Gojugai karate. That's like some they will hear Shotokan, blah blah blah, but that was Goju. Called it Goju with a fist like this.
Uh huh.
They will always say
Interesting.
a fist. Um, I started very early, but you know, once you become a teenager, start growing up, start to see life, and then you feel like, oh, I have to go to the fitness. It's gonna take an hour, and I wanna go out with my friends. Today I'm absent, and then it started slowly, 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 slowly. But I did competitions also in the past. I also got my belts up to a certain level, but I stopped. I missed that. I wish I would have continued up to another level, but I did teach as well
Oh,
at the
cool.
time because yeah, because once you go to a certain kind of a belt, you can start already in your gym also helping your sensei or going to other clubs, and it's common there so that you can share knowledge and you learn that skill. Yeah. Anyways,
Yeah.
but the only thing I hated in karate, we have two kinds. You have full contact and non-contact fights.
Mm-hmm.
And the non-contact, that's when it's all about to show your speed, how fast you can be, and then you get points on that. But the full contact, that's when we see blood. That's when we really fight. And I used to enjoy those because the non-contact, uh, somebody that is very fast and they can prove they can hit you and you were too slow to react, you know what
Mm-hmm.
happens? That there's a point to him, and then you feel like, no, he didn't hit me, man. Why are you giving me a point? I need to feel that thing. It's not happening here.
I understand what you say, and I,
Y- y-
yeah, go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, yeah, but I think you also have such fights from your thing whereby you feel like, no, man, that wasn't supposed to be a point there. But anyway, I find that a very good thing you are doing, and I suppose you have a lot of people that are doing it now, that are coming. Do you have different ages and genders that are in your coaching class?
Right now,
Hmm.
well, we just started the school, like it's very new. So yeah, we just have like a handful of people. It's we just started the courses like a couple weeks ago. It was we were building up to that. I had a lot. I mean, I have a lot of teaching experience, and I can tell you about larger courses from the past, but the one I'm doing right now is just pretty new. So we do
Okay.
have different ages and different genders, but I also have a class that's only for women.
Why
Just
is
be-
that?
Why is that?
Yes.
Well, I have both. Like one class is mixed and one class is only for women, and the reason for
No, but
that.
why?
Oh yeah, I can explain that.
Why is it only for women and not for men? And then there's another one mix. Why are you having
Yes,
that?
that I can
Mhm.
explain that. That is because there are not a lot of spaces for women to experience their more like yang energy in like a safe space where they
Mhm.
feel
Mhm.
welcome, where they can really experience themselves in this way. And if you go, for example, when I started, there were only classes for women and men together. And I was almost always the only woman in most
Mhm.
classes. Later, like that was 2014 when I started. So in and also you have to say in kickboxing there are more women than in the BJJ, but the thing is BJJ is like a sport where you have a lot of physical contact.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
on the ground. And a lot of women, from my experience, just kind of don't feel comfortable with even starting because of that. And so I just wanted to create like a space for those who kind of want to do it and want to experience themselves like that, but just haven't, just don't feel safe when there are men.
But if you yourself manage to feel safe, why others won't feel safe? Why you feel that there's a need that they should be separated because they don't feel safe, or because it was a
Well,
request, or you thought that mhm.
sorry.
No, 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 continue.
It's just a fact. It has nothing to do with me because I am one of those people who, I mean, I was a professional fighter. Like, I don't have a problem to train with men or to. I always had a lot of fighting spirit and fighting energy in me. And those women who are similar to me, they don't have a problem with that, right? But I wanted to create like a space that is not like competition environment, or that is not for those who already
Mhm.
like feel very comfortable, but more for somebody who's like curious, who's maybe more
Yeah,
shy, who's
yeah,
maybe more
yeah.
like, oh, like I'm kind of curious about this, but like it feels edgy for them. And so I have both, right? I have a class for everyone, and then I have a class that is just called like playful fighting for women. So those who are just curious can sort of try
Join the
it
other
there.
one.
Yeah,
No, I don't want to make this as a problem, or or as an issue.
sure.
Um, it's a very good thing that you are doing. I just I was just thinking to myself, if we can't see a sport as a sport the way it is, and if the sport is whereby all genders are combined, that we would feel such. But again, we look at other sports. Look at football, with women that are playing football apart, not mixed with men. We have a lot of sports, net all a lot of sports where they are apart. So you are finding something like that so that everybody would feel like, okay, I'm here and I'm comfortable and I want to do this. I don't want to be doing all these grand movements with men that I don't know. I just want, okay, that I understand. It's just like um, it's something I have to learn. Same as you go to the fitness, right? You go to the fitness now. We have women basic feeds, for instance, in Belgium and that where they only women fitnesses and men not allowed. And I haven't seen any of men. By the way, I should do my research and find out if we have a fitness for men, because we always have this. But anyway, quickly. Leaving that department alone, thanks for sharing. It's a beautiful story. It's a beautiful thing that you're doing. Before we quickly diverge to something else, and your injury, how's your injury now?
It's much better. It's a couple years ago. I broke my ACL and
Hmm.
had a
Hmm.
surgery like a year later. I tried to, um, you know, build up my muscle and try to avoid the surgery,
Hmm.
but that
Hmm.
didn't work. And so at the
Yes,
end, I
yes,
did it,
yes.
and it was a very good decision. And now my leg is doing very well.
Were
Thank
you
you.
in a fight, or
No,
it
that
was
happened. That happened during training. Yeah.
during training?
By the way, I just want to segue. This fits very well with the topic we had, so I'm just going to go back to that for a moment. I was actually training with someone much heavier than me, and
What do you mean heavier?
well, in martial arts, you have weight classes. I was training with a
I,
man who was
ah,
much
okay.
taller and much stronger than me, and had
Okay,
much
okay.
more heavy,
Yes, yes,
heavier,
yes.
like as in more mass, more kilograms
Yes,
on
yes,
the
yes.
scale.
No, I understand
And
that. Yes, okay,
yes,
yes.
and so a lot of people, even me, even though I was experienced, it was a little bit difficult to communicate with my training partner to match my energy. And this is how the injury happened. And this is also why in martial arts and in BJJ especially, where you are on the ground and the mass of the other person is on you, is on top of you, you know, you have to learn how to move with so much mass that is not just your own body. And this is also why there are weight classes, and this is another reason why there is a space, because just for women only, also because they just are lighter, you know, and it's a way to learn safely, because you have to see it this way: when we train together, there is it's kind of, it's a lot of trust. We need to trust each other, and we need to communicate, because somebody else, if they are not conscious, if they're not aware, they can easily hurt someone. And it becomes easier to hurt someone the stronger you are, the heavier you are than the other person. And this is why it's
Yes, yes.
important, especially for beginner, to a little bit match the weight and match the experience and all of that. So yes, that's how my injury happened.
Yeah, yeah. Also, what I know is that if you train with someone who's overweight, normally the person who's overweight should also try to meet the person that is lightweight to avoid injuries. In boxing, it happens when in the fitness. I mean, when in the training, in martial arts is big. In karate, we had that. I would fight with guys that were bigger than me, but they will control themselves, not to give me any injuries.
Yeah.
And I would also do the same, but it can be complicated from your end, of course, because there's too much weighting uh, going on there with all these ground techniques that you guys have to use. But thanks for sharing that one. Let's go quickly back to you mentioned that you were originally from. If you may repeat the country.
Well, I'm born in Germany, but my parents are from the Republic of Moldova.
The Republic of Moldova, and you were born in Germany. So, what language do they speak, your parents, or your mother tongue?
Well, my mother tongue is Russian, so
Okay, yeah, yeah,
I can speak
Moldova. So,
Russian, and we
yeah.
learned Russian at I learned Russian at my home.
Hmm.
But my mom also speaks Moldovan, which is like a version of Romanian. But
Yeah, 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 yeah.
so yeah, the language of the Republic of Moldova is Moldovan.
Hmm. Hmm. And
But because
do
it
you
was part
understand it? Ah, sorry.
Russian, yes, but not Moldovan. I do not speak that.
Moldovan, you don't. So your parents at home, what language were they speaking then?
Russian.
Oh, Russian also. Oh,
Yeah.
lovely. Um, um, this is interesting because before I go deeper into that, not even deeper, that's your family, but because we are in a podcast whereby we talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion. Uh, Firstly, let me ask if you do understand these words, and if you do, what do they mean to you as a person? And then from there, I want to go back to the story that we were talking about, your parents in Germany, Moldovan, and because I would like to hear more about you as a person, um, if uh, as you are born there and having your last name is German or Moldovan. Am I saying it correctly?
I would say it's Jewish, my last name.
Ah, it's Jewish, your last name. You see? Okay, let's stop there. We're coming back to you. Let's start now first to say, do you understand or does it mean something to you, the diversity, equity, and inclusion? You can say uh, in any order that you want to say them, but do they mean something to
Yeah.
you? And yes, please tell me why.
Yeah,
Or
of course it
what?
means something to me. You just want me to like express what these words mean to me?
Um, um, Yes and no, because if you express what do they mean to you, that's also beautiful. But what I would suggest is you look at them, at their meaning to you, and um, what do they really mean to you? last time we did talk, if you remember, I made an example of uh, how important I find diversity and equity and inclusion. And I made an example of me growing up during the times of apartheid in South Africa, whereby segregation was there. And as a black man, as an African, let me just correct myself because I'm not black, I'm just a man with a brown skin. So, as an African, I was told a lot of things to not to believe myself. For instance, number one, if I would be a human being, like any white person was in South Africa, being a white or being a human being, right? Uh, so so and then all these things, and then you are not living together. When you are not living together, that means the blacks, the Africans, they can live on the other side, and the whites can live on the other side, so that these people cannot live together. That is separation. So I'm just giving you small things, but yes, express it in your own way, the way you feel comfortable about what it means to you, whatever you want to say. Actually, it's okay.
Well, diversity, equity, and inclusion mean a lot to me. I mean, those are values that are um, very important for all of us, on no matter like if we are a group that has a history of persecution or not. But for example, I would say, as somebody who has a Jewish lineage, for example, my parents came to Germany because they were persecuted, because they came as refugees because in their country, at that time in their village, there was like a situation where Jewish people have been suddenly murdered, and so they had to run away and leave everything behind. And I often think about that, how my life would have been extremely different if I was not have been born in Germany, a country where, relatively speaking to the rest of the world, diversity, equity, and inclusion are, let's say, standards and values that are really important in this society in Germany, where there's a lot of, I mean, there are, of course, people who are trying to go back to more unequal situations, may it be financially, may it be saying that, oh, we don't want people from different countries in Germany. All of this exists, all of these people and people who have that opinion exist in Germany. But on the other hand, probably because of the history of Germany in the Second World War, it's a place where there is a lot of effort made for inclusion. There is a lot of effort made for equity, which just means to me an equality of opportunity, no matter who you are. Like it's just being peers, honestly. Just to sum it up, these three words mean that we are all peers. We are all human beings, and we are all peers, and we all like, it's not about every time in history when people have a discussion about who is human and who is not, or who is worth what and why, things go really badly. So these
Yes.
values just stand for, we don't have to have that conversation. We don't have to talk about all of, like, ideally we wouldn't have to even have conversations like that. It's just we are all peers. We are much
Yes.
more the
Yes.
same than we are different. And our differences firstly are very small, but also that's what makes us unique, and we all have something to contribute. We're here for a reason, and we contribute to the world. And to me, DEI just stands for creating an environment where each of us can be as they are, and everyone and everything and everyone benefits from that. Like if you can be yourself, everyone gets nurtured and you get nurtured. That's really what it means. And to not even yeah, like we should have learned from history that we don't need to have a conversation about making a hierarchy based with humans, you know, like we're all peer to peer. That's not, that
Yes,
shouldn't be a
yes.
question. But because things are not like that, that's unfortunately a utopia. In practice, yes, it is. It has, I mean, I don't know how it has been in the past, but because we are not treated like peers, unfortunately, based
Yes.
on, you know, based on where somebody is from, based on how somebody looks, based on their gender or their sexual orientation, all of these things. That's why we have this conversation. That's why we have DEY, to remind all of us that we're all peers. That's
Yeah.
what it's
Yeah.
about.
No, nicely put. Now I'm thinking now to myself, you're talking about your parents going to Germany, and I'm thinking now the history of Germany regarding to what made your parents to go to Germany. And now I ask myself, uh, uh, what time was it when your parents went there, and how was the situation in Germany at the time?
My parents came to Germany in 1991. That's when the
Oh,
UdSSR broke, basically. And because of the Second World War and the history of, you know, the the genocide on Jewish people, the Holocaust that happened.
yes, that's why I
Um,
was asking, and yeah, yeah,
yeah, yeah. Because of that, there was kind of like I don't know the name of this law or whatever, but um, if you were like a Jewish refugee, then it was not a problem to be able to be received in Germany. You know, so
yes,
a lot of
yes,
people,
yes.
a lot of Ashkenazi Jews came from Eastern Europe at that time. In 1991, they came to Germany, and yes, my parents were among
All right.
them. Yeah.
No, that's clear then, because I think also that that was a way of repaying and trying um, to um, to make amends of what had happened and to welcome everybody who fled the country during the genocide. Anyway, that's lovely. Uh, I don't know how life was for your parents at the time, because I would assume that they also didn't speak the language of the country when they first moved to Germany, right?
Yeah, that's true, of
Uh,
course, yes.
yeah, yeah. And as you know them better than me, they are your parents, right? So, so um, I would imagine that also finding jobs, uh, also the what do you call this? The integration of them becoming the part of the German culture, everything. It was for them something to learn, but they did that because they had a purpose. And you are born there, you studied there, you did everything there. How was it for you growing up there? Have you ever felt like you were different, or have you ever felt like you were not a German? Just can you just take me a little bit there if you want to talk about it?
Um, yeah, of course. Well, I don't, yeah, sure. I can just give you a couple of experiences,
Just
or
few. Yes, 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 yes.
I definitely was in a place where I didn't feel like I'm like my family, but I also didn't feel like I'm German. I feel like a lot of first generation children of immigrants find themselves in that position, probably. But yeah, it's been like that for me. Like that belonging has been, belonging and home, these two things have been sort of symbols that I've been just like exploring for a really long time. And I always had I had really, I still have actually my friends from when I was a teenager, from like 20 years ago. I just visited them last weekend, so they are kind of like my family of choice that I
Yeah.
met in Germany. So I always felt very well received and very, yeah, I felt very received in Germany. That's for sure. I personally did not have experiences of feeling like from the outside, the people outside are trying to make me feel other or different. But it was inside of me. I was just like, I didn't know where I belong. And I would say, to be honest, only in the last year, I'm 32 now, in my 30s, I really started feeling at home in a place, which is in me. I started feeling at home in myself. And since then, I also feel where I am right now, I am in Germany, I feel at home here. But just because that's a little bit interesting, just to quickly add something to that, I did leave Germany for 2 years and I moved to Costa Rica because because of this whole thing. Like I was always looking for something better because I never really felt this is home, this is where I belong. But then when I moved away for 2 years into a completely other culture and, just like a place that has very nice nature, I realized after 2 years in that place, I really started to appreciate my home, which is Germany.
Yes.
But before that, I didn't really feel that way. But now I came back after 2 years away last year in May. And since then, I really feel like a very strong connection to the people here and to the land. And yeah.
You can still hear me, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I keep on having updating, slow connection. All right. So, what happened to you while you were traveling? Uh, did you find yourself while you were there? You said Costa Rica, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you find yourself when you were there, or something you noticed there that made you like realize, actually, Germany is my home? Something might have changed during the travel. You don't need to talk about it, but I just want to look at the same perspective as you to like, is it either the journey that you took made opened your eyes in a certain level, or you had other experiences there whereby I was like, okay, now I think I know where I belong. I don't need
Yeah.
details there. Just what you want to share, but you don't need to share things that you don't want to share. But I just want to find out that click.
Yeah.
Uh,
I can share that. Um, so multiple things, but two are the main things. So one is I always had kind of like a feeling of, well, in German we say Fernweh. That means like a longing for being away from your, I don't know
from
how
your
to say this in
country.
English. Yeah, to like a longing to explore other places. So I did have
Is
that
it that
longing, but I
actually?
also go ahead.
No, no, no. I find that very common in the West. That people they like to go, and like in Belgium, people they want to go for a year or 2 years just to be out of the country to do things. So yeah, yeah.
Yes,
We
I
don't have that money
think.
in Africa, unfortunately. We don't just think and wake up and say we want to go because number one, are we going to get visas to even go to the places we want to go? So, but I understand you continue.
Yes, no, no, but that is a very interesting thing that you say, and I agree with you. And I would love, maybe we can talk about that after I say what I wanted to say, because I think that it has a lot to do with like entitlement. And I'm not saying that as someone from above, I'm saying that as someone who realized that as well, but also like a lack of roots and spirituality and culture in your own place. Instead of exploring that, for me it was like that. But anyway,
Yes, yes.
so for me in Costa Rica, Yes, so when I was in Germany, some part of me was always thinking, and I think that has to do now as an archetypal somatics coach, I can see it was something that we call the utopia complex. It's like a part of you, an archetype that
Hmm.
always tells you, it's kind of like the colonizer archetype. Now I see that. It's like finding something better. No, no, it's 100% true. It's just I
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
understand that.
Hmm.
It's
Hmm.
like going, when you go somewhere else, you don't think, oh, I want to go somewhere and I want to exploit that place. At
Yeah,
least not for
yeah.
me. I didn't think like that. I was just thinking, oh, I really love the mountains and I really love nature. And somehow I don't have what I want here. Um, I think somewhere else is better. This is very, like, I'm just trying to say it in one sentence. And it's just unconsciousness. You don't know where this is coming from, but it's kind of like the spiritual illness of of the West a little
Hmm.
bit,
Hmm.
and but
Yes.
when you grow up in this culture, you don't know that this is not you. This is not my true self. This is just a voice. This is something I inherited in my lineage, you know, maybe, who knows, you don't even know what, but whatever. So I went to Costa Rica and with my partner at that time, anyways, we're not together anymore. And I was in this country.
Sorry, man.
And so firstly, I realized that um, there was a fantasy. So what I just said, I just did the like shadow work, like the spiritual work with my coach to recognize that inside of me there was a utopia complex, that there was like the colonizer archetype, and that it was a fantasy to go to this place, the so-called like paradise. Do you see what I mean?
Hmm.
Like it was
Hmm.
a fantasy, but when I was in the fantasy, I went there and the reality was just like, okay, I am in a culture where I can speak the language a little bit, I can speak some Spanish, um, but it's, you know, really connecting to the people. I even learned like the history and I learned a lot of things, but I recognized, and this is the experience you were asking me about, what was the moment where it clicked?
Yes, yes.
It was the interaction with people where it really felt just culturally. It was really something that I was never conscious about, and I never consciously appreciated about the German people, which is just my culture here, how I grew up, which is not even the culture maybe of my parents, but people are very, maybe not very emotional. Like they don't know you for 1 minute and they say, my house is your house or something. But
Yes.
German people are very, the culture here is just like direct, kind, and very honest. Like where you are. You can feel, am I your friend? Am I your neighbor? Um, and when I was in Costa Rica, it was very different. People are very warm, very, very quickly, but it's not necessarily like a real connection. Do you see what I mean? And that created a lot of disorientation for me and just made it difficult to connect because
Hmm.
I connect the way, like, do you see what I mean? Like, I felt disoriented. And in that moment, it's like I recognized the German culture in me, how I had a longing for that, for maybe the first time in my
Yes,
life. And I
yes.
was like, wow, I didn't even think that this is important to me because I couldn't even see it like a fish in water. But then when I left the water, I was like, no, no, I want to go back there. And this is the truth. So,
Yes. Thanks to you. I think um, if I was from Germany now, I would be very proud to hear someone that represents me the way you just did. But have you ever gone to is that Moldova? Have you ever went there, and or do you also still have family there? Do you go and visit there with your parents or alone if you still have families there?
I don't have family there anymore. Um, and I have been there when I was very little, like when I was 3 years old or 4 years old. And honestly, right now, I mean, I would love to visit. I really, I have been on a sort of journey to explore like the magic from this place, from Moldova.
Hmm.
Like, because I feel like that's also a place. How can you to explore like the spirituality of my roots? That does that make sense? Do you understand what I
Yes,
mean?
yes, yes,
So
yes.
I would love, and so something funny. Um, I have a tattoo of a wolf because I always liked the symbolism of wolves and I felt like connected to that animal. But I never knew, because I never did the research to connect with my roots, that in this region where I'm from, where my roots are from, this is like a very important animal for like the shamans that come from this
Hmm. Hmm.
place. So
Hmm.
that's something interesting, how like that was in me, but I only realized that later. But yeah, right now I would love to go, but I can't because of the Ukraine war, unfortunately.
Yes, yes,
Um,
unfortunately.
but I am planning that as soon as it's possible and safe, I want to go in my lifetime again as an adult
Should,
to explore it. Yeah.
I should join you going there.
Okay.
I'm a black man.
Sounds
They won't
good.
kill us. Don't
You
worry.
can
They won't
come.
care. Black people. Don't worry. Russians and black people, they like one another. They won't kill me. I'll be just walking. They would know I'm not from Ukraine. I'm not from Russia. Anyway, I'm just an African. So leave him alone. He doesn't know what you are fighting for. Anyways, just jokingly there, so that you guys don't take this personally. But honestly
No.
speaking, we know the history. We don't have bad or good relationships with anyone. We have mutual relations. Like if you know my country of origin as a South African and Russia, we don't have. We have our own history, but our history we're not going to put as the part of the Ukraine or the Western conflicts. That's something else. We are in Africa. Let us stay in Africa with our own problems. We leave the EU with its own thing. So we're not going to talk about that today. This is not that's not the part of that. But I would love to join you one day. You go there because I never been there, and I've been thinking of going there myself. But because of these wars, you don't feel safe anywhere now. You don't know where you can go. But anyway, thanks for sharing. Um, are you still there? There you are. I should say this, and I'm going to keep on saying that after this recording, should we miss some things, you and I, we're gonna arrange where after holidays another podcast because I feel like you and I there's a lot to talk about, and I don't like the fact that I'm using this way of recording because I don't know how much I'm gonna use or I'm gonna lose or not. But this is very important, and I can tell the energy that you have a lot to share, and you're enjoying this, and people like you, I enjoy them in my podcast, and I would love a really live podcast. And if I have to drive there one day, I'm gonna do that.
Thank
Anyways,
you. That's
no,
great.
I
You're
am.
welcome.
Yes, I will do that. If I have to wake up at 6 a.m. to be there on time and then come back home, that I will do. But now in this podcast, Rafaela, we looking at how can we take action. What are things that we think are not working? It could be in your country, you see something from another country that you think if we may implement this in Germany, or maybe it would work, or we see this in Africa, we see this, now I'm talking continents, or we see this in the West, or we see this somewhere else. Can we maybe try and do this? I'm saying this because you mentioned something very important here, that nowadays we have people that don't want the immigrants, number one, because we're saying they're doing this, they're doing this, they're doing this. I'll make an example of Germany recently because there's a lot of stabbing, the knife stabbing in Germany that are happening. There's a lot of things, people coming to the market with the cars and driving, blah blah blah. The first thing that we always look at is he or she a German? Is Yeah, what was the whole thing? Why did he do that? And then we look at he's from either Middle East or he's from whatever the countries with war, whatever the case may be. And then if we find out that he's not a German, and then we start to look at the terrorism, or we come to what you just mentioned earlier on, that no, he's an outsider. We are tired of them. They should go home. It's been happening all over now. We see the elections in Europe, everywhere else in the world. People are going right now, right? So I understand you there. But with all that, how are you guys as German taking this shift,
You
and the
mean as a
hatred that we as people coming out with, not only in Germany, but I'm just general because it's happening everywhere now.
um well, I think I can say I'm very fortunate to be in a circle of people who have a very strong code of conduct and ethics, all my inner circle. So, when I talk to my friends, everyone is very outraged. People are very hurt by that. People are very, there are a lot of different categories of people with opinions, not categories of people, but people have different opinions, categories of
And they're
opinions.
allowed to. And
And
they're
they are
allowed to.
absolutely allowed to. Thank you. Yes.
Yes.
That's the thing. But it's just like some people are very outraged. Some people, kind of want to have a hard time to accept that we are in a point of history where all the symbols that have been here 18 years ago, 80 years ago, or when it, are here right now in the world, So it's kind of like, and of course there are people who actually want to, the ones who are voting right, they're also there. That's their opinion, right? So I just want to say before I continue speaking, it is very difficult for me to represent or to speak about them because I don't have anyone in my circle of friends who has that opinion. I'm saying that because I think it's very important to know the people, not just know the opinion, like you say. Sometimes when you go to a cafe and you see a person, and you start speaking about politics, that happens to me quite a lot. I don't know why. I just sit there and people come and I guess I just like to share. I like to talk and, people feel safe. And sometimes people share their opinions, and it's always a good experience, even if someone has a opinion I don't have, because you see the person. Do you see what I mean? Like there is a human being having that opinion. It's not just an opinion on the internet. But I just want to say that I don't have a lot of connections to people who vote right. So I cannot speak about that very, very much, But what I can say is that the people I know, they really care. They really care about everyone. They're not radicals. They're not fanatics. They want to find a solution where everyone can coexist. And I'm not talking about, may it be, when I speak a lot to people about the state of the world, about politics, about Germany, about this, what's happening in the United States, speaking about the war, and I can feel how people are very eager to find a solution where people can coexist. So that's that feels very good. Now, because that's the question you asked how can we take action?
Yes.
So I want to say something about that because I actually have quite a strong opinion about that. When we speak about taking action, so the most important thing, because action is like activism, right? So when we take action, the most important thing is that we do our own inner work. This might sound woo-woo or spiritual or anything, but I just mean this completely logically. And this is what I try, because the thing is the following: we can see right now in the world. I can say examples if you want me to. I would rather do it abstractly, but I can call people out and groups out if you want me to. We can see a lot of people who are politically active. But what their actions are doing is they are reinforcing the problems. And so all of us are very powerful, right? Every action we take, inaction is also an action. If you don't do anything, if you are a bystander, this is an action too. The forces of inequality, of persecution, and of evil, the evil forces have always been around in the world, always. But we can see when do they take over and when do they not take over. And it's not about fighting the evil forces, because it's like they are in the universe. Mm-hmm. We cannot get rid of them, but everyone can take a choice to not be a bystander. Because when we are bystanders, and you can see this very well in the Second World War, what happened in the Second World War did not happen because everybody was a monster. It happened because when it comes about life and death, it's hard to act, of course. But anyways, we are here and we all have a voice. But before we use our voice, we need to make sure that our actions are actually not blaming. We don't reinforce the victim, villain, and perpetrator triangle. We need to act in creative ways so that we can actually not be like hooligans in a football match. This against them. Do you see what I mean? This is not a football match, okay? If you want to be a hooligan, you can go to a football match. You can say, I'm on this side, they are the bad. No, this is not how it works. Political action is not being a hooligan archetype. You have to be conscious, because if we act unconsciously, our life force goes towards reenacting all of what has happened. I hope I'm making sense. But this is what I want to say. I don't have a solution, but what I can say is that we need to stay away from fanaticism. We need to stay away from things that are extremist. And we are all peers, and if we take the position where we say they are the bad guys and because of that they are not human anymore, then we become the villain. So this is never justified. It's never justified to make someone less human. And that's... Sorry, maybe I said a lot and I didn't say anything, but I just want to say, before we don't do this, we cannot act. So before any action, this is the fundamental action. When we are there, when we did that, then we will find the right steps, because then what we do is actually towards the benefit of every being on the planet. But when we have sides, and when some people, as long as we are in the paradigm where some people are not human, I don't care about your opinion, your action is BS. Sorry.
Okay. So, Shitofebu, BS. That's the language of
That's right. That's how we started our conversation.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Now, this is kind of an insider. Nobody will understand that, but yes, we talked about BS.
That's why I set it the way it is, because it's nice to mention that some people, they even think that the things that we do are BS to them, which is beautiful, because like we just mentioned here, everybody has his or her own opinion, and we have to respect that. So yes, if you say BS is welcomed here, because we have a lot of comments that you can read. They're talking about BS, so it's beautiful. Anyways,
Yes,
I'm glad you still remember that, because we talked about it last time. Now I'm thinking now because we're talking about taking action, but before we talked about it, we didn't go to say, do we think there is a lack, or do we have enough of diversity? Do we have enough of inclusion? Uh, do we have enough of equity before we can say? Because we would take action should we recognize first that we are missing something. But do we miss something? We should start
Yes,
there.
we absolutely do. There is
What do you,
gender apartheid in the Middle East.
hmm
Women in the Middle East, in Iran, in Afghanistan, are not treated like human beings at all.
hmm hmm
I don't know if I'm answering your question, but there is a lot in the world where we can take action and we can speak up. We can speak up about
hmm
gender apartheid for sure, much more.
And the parts that you just mentioned, do they qualify as a part of equity or inclusion or diversity in these three words? Because now you just talked about the rights of the women in the Middle East. Uh, uh, would they be would that qualify as under equity?
Of course.
Okay, okay,
No?
okay.
What do
Uh,
you say? Does it not?
no, 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 no. I'm asking you. This is your podcast, not
Oh,
mine.
you want me to say
The thing is, no, no, no. I don't want you to say anything. You
you
say
don't
your
have
own
an
way.
agenda? I see.
No, no, no. I don't have an agenda. What I
That's
want
good.
is to because when you mention that, for instance, you'd say that is the part of if I mention something, for instance, if you were to talk, for instance, about, because I don't know how is diversity in the Middle East, number one. I've never been there. And in terms of justice, I would take what you just said, that it's a matter of justice. And if it's a matter of justice, I would think, to my understanding, maybe that's under equity. So that's why I was thinking now what you were saying, if it's the part of equity, because some they say these three words, they always interchange. That time, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
So,
mean, no, no, sorry, I don't want to. I mean, there is a lot in the world that's, I mean, equity is extremely violated. We don't have, equity also means equal opportunity of resources. We do not have that at all. You don't even have to be part of a group that has been historically persecuted to experience equity problems. That
mhm,
being said, of course, there are groups who even experience it more, right? But like um, a lot of global problems that we have in the world right now, it's climate change is a problem because the resources are exploited, right? So
mhm,
you can frame it in a way as humans are exploiting Earth, right? But it's not equal because a lot of companies and rich people are taking the resources from all of us, right? We are all earthlings, so we are all being that is an equity problem in my view.
mhm,
We
mhm.
don't have equity of resources, natural resources. We don't have equity of we don't have economical equity at all. I mean, this goes to the same thing
It's trying to
where
reconnect again. So
no problem.
while it's trying to reconnect, let's see our camera also. Okay. Uh, Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm here. I can hear you.
Okay. No, it was trying to reconnect again, doing the same thing, but I guess from your
It's no
end it was
problem.
good.
You can just
No,
edit
it's
it and
okay.
cut out the parts that were weird.
I, I, I will. So what is also important is that the audio we will have, and the one you are recording also. So that's beautiful because the parts that, but I'll see how it's gonna be after. It's okay.
So yeah, I mean, we could talk about this for a really, really long time, all the things, but I mean, um, we have like a macro problem of DEY, but then we also have mini micro problems. But equity is probably one of the biggest ones that does not just go towards a specific group of people. It doesn't just like affect um, your background. Like, do you see what I mean? Like it's not just equity is like a global problem, right? And then there are groups of people who are even more disadvantaged. Um, yeah, but I do think that's just my perspective that if we globally would care about equity more,
Yes.
equal opportunity, then it kind of like if you have, I mean, if you have everyone as a peer, and then we care about equity just as in, I mean, equity is just natural law. You really don't need politicians or anyone to like bring up, create some strange law. I mean, equity is just common sense. It's
Do you
not.
think? No, finish your statement.
It is just not that hard. It's like if we want to live in a sustainable way, right? If we want to all live in a way that we can all that everyone is well, and I do believe that if your actions make others unwell, then you are not well too. Like it's not possible. It is. No, I am serious. I know it sounds like I'm talking something religious, but it's not religious. It is logic. It's very
No,
common
it is.
sense. It
It
really
is.
is.
It is. It is. You know what I'm curious about now, to all that you have said, I'm just thinking to myself, um, if the world is the way exactly you just described, I'm just thinking to myself, do you think are we wasting our time doing this podcast?
No, you're not. I don't understand what you mean. Why would you waste our time with the
If
podcast?
if the world is the way it is, do you think what we're trying to
Uh,
do will even have a 0.0000 whatever 0.5% to try to say to one child or to one person? Like, I've listened to her. I think I like what she said. I like the podcast. It's going on a direction whereby I would take some points to say, I think as people we should live together, or just like, get out, get away with that DI they're talking about. Let us do our own stuff. We're tired of hearing that it doesn't work. So that's why I'm thinking, because it seems like it's not like we're doing this to change the world. It's not going to be like that. But my question is more to, do you think people are tired of just hearing about these things? The DEI on its own. Are we wasting our time here?
Um, I feel like you're asking two things. You're asking one if this can have an impact, if can this have a real impact, and the other one is if people are tired. So I will answer the first one first. I absolutely think it can have an impact, just because I have experienced things like that myself, where sometimes you can hear one thought or just something. Maybe you are already like on a journey of gathering data, or you are when you are open and you can receive data, every tiny
Yeah.
bit can have a really big impact. And yes, definitely. So no, you're not wasting anyone's time. And
Okay.
the other one, are people tired of hearing about it? Well, um, yes and no. I mean, there are people who are tired. There are
Like me, I'm
certainly,
gonna sleep now.
yeah, I mean, I can give an example. I live in Germany, and a lot of people are tired to talk about the Second World War. If the Second World War topic comes up, there are people who are like, oh my God, I don't want to talk about this anymore, right? And I think, there is a reason for that. It's because maybe sometimes there is, when people speak about something, it might, inside of it, it might have some blame. When there is blame, blame makes people not want to receive something, and um, that is a right. Like it's a good thing that people are sensitive to being blamed, because
Yes.
blame and responsibility are not the same. And so when people speak about these topics, there is a lot of things that need to be in all of our history. Like all of us in our lineage, we all have everything in there. In our lineage, there are people who are victims and there are people who are perpetrators in everybody's lineage. So we all have a lot that we can explore and integrate. And in order to facilitate that, those people who see it as their calling, like you, for example, you are facilitating this space where we can speak about difficult things. I think it's very important that all of us who participate in that we do this in a way that makes it's our job, to be conscious of make it in such a way that people can receive it. If we want to be heard, then it's our job to deliver, to create something and to speak about things in a way that include all of us. We don't need to blame people. It's more like we are all in this together and we are trying to move forward, And if we really take DEI at its heart, DEI, sorry, then we need to include everyone. And it's not about blame. It's about, I don't care who does the work. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you have been someone who committed a crime. If you show up so we can move forward, then you're welcome.
I think you said it all. I think have you ever thought of being in parliament?
Why? Because I can talk without taking a break. I can talk and breathe at the same time. That's why.
No, it's no, because I'm just listening to how you talk and how you think, and your experiences. Because when somebody speaks like that, that's because at times you have experiences that are just stored, and it's easy to recall them when you encounter topics like these. When I'm talking about experiences, I'm not only looking at the bad or good experiences. I'm just showing life experiences or just understanding what is happening in the world, and that on its own makes me now want to come to ask one thing. Do you think you have enough diversity in Germany?
That is I have to think about that a bit, because do we have enough diversity, or is the diversity as it is really received and accepted and welcomed? That's kind of how I feel. Do we have enough diversity? It's interesting that you asked me that, because I visited my friends on the weekend and somebody said, as a joke, Germany has no culture. That really stuck with me. And then my friend, she's a very, very wonderful person, and she said, yeah, she's German also. She's like, all her history, all her lineage, all people are from Germany. And she said, yes, we have a culture. It's the diversity. That's what she said. And it really, that was kind of a touching moment for me, because I always try to figure out what is the German culture. But yes, because of the German history, I would say at this point, right now, when you walk in the street, like, there is a lot of diversity in Germany. There could be more, it's difficult to say, is it enough? I don't know how to express this because there are not a lot of people. When it comes to diversity, something that I notice is there are a lot of people from different backgrounds, for sure. There's a lot of diversity. And at the same time, there are not a lot of people from Africa in Germany. I don't know why that is the case, but that is something I often feel. That I always feel like it's also like in history, in the school, you know, um, that continent is always a little bit left out. That's just how I experience it.
Yes,
It's a while ago but there's a lot of course, there's a lot about Europe. There's a lot about the United States. We do have a lot of people from everywhere in the world. But I do feel like the education, because that's part of diversity too. It's not just what people live here. It's also
yes.
so I do feel like when it comes to Africa, there could be much more, like education and just like a lot of people like can't even name one place in Africa.
In Africa.
Yeah, so that is
And
something that I
you?
notice.
And you? Can you name some?
Not that many. Well, my problem is that I cannot remember names very well,
Just
but
name one.
I can
Where
name some. Sure, I
where
can name
where am
some.
I from? Where am I from?
You are from South Africa.
See, you named one.
Sure, I know some. I mean, I can name some, but this is not.
Yeah, I
I
know.
mean, do you
Yeah,
want me
yeah,
to
yeah.
name some? But
No,
yeah,
it's
no,
interesting. Mhm, mhm. No,
I
you may
have.
continue.
Huh?
No, I say you may continue. I thought
Oh,
you were waiting for me because I also was
no,
about to
you
say
can say
something,
it.
but
Sorry,
no,
I
no,
don't
no,
really
no,
have
no. You go,
anything.
you go,
Oh,
you
I
go.
just wanted to
No,
say that I did try to educate myself actively on Africa. But that doesn't mean that I know a lot, but I can,
okay. Yeah,
yeah, I
yeah.
can share some, but anyway, go on.
Yes, yes. No, I was about to say that it's very interesting what you just said. Um, there is diversity. Is it enough? Of course, you have to do your research about that because I don't know what enough should mean. Number one,
Yeah.
human beings will never be enough. They can move. They can be in any space. So I don't know. And the thing that I found interesting was what you just say. You just said that uh, not enough. You don't see enough Africans, though you see others coming from other countries. But it seems like this beautiful brown skin is not enough, and that makes me to say Africans go to Germany. It misses you. But then I'll ask Germans, are we welcome? But anyway, I'm not calling people to go to Germany, guys. What I'm trying to say is that it shouldn't be the case. We should be able to see all kinds of people anywhere in the world. And I'm now starting to think of South Africa because we also a diverse country. Um, is it enough? That's also another thing I don't know. It can be better, it can grow, it can be whatever. It's enough the day that you don't see who's majority, who's minority, but you just see human beings, you just see human race. Then that's when you know I don't need to talk about diversity anymore because everybody's here, right?
Yeah.
And again, but that is something else. Then you have inclusion, though they are all here, are they all included? Are they all making? Are they all allowed to make decisions? Are they all at the part of something? Like last time when I was talking to you, I made an example of the CEOs that you find bigger companies that you haven't seen or found some certain people leading those companies. Is it something that is cultural? Is it also something that is lacking? Or is it because they are not interested, because they think they won't get a chance because of their backgrounds, of where they're from? Because at times we shouldn't blame what is happening. We don't know what others are doing also from their side, to get my point.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, I'm just trying to put all these things out there. I think this is an interesting, and I know There's still a lot to talk about, but I don't want to exhaust you also. It doesn't mean that because you have energy, I should exhaust it. No, no, I should leave you with some. The day is still young. Um, if you were in my shoes in a sense that if you were hosting this podcast and you came with these topics that we are trying to unleash and share with the rest of the world, what advice would you give me?
Wow, I have to think about that for a little bit.
I
What
love it when
advice?
people think. That means I got a good questioning there. That was a good question there when somebody thinks.
Yeah.
But anyways, I, I'm listening.
I mean, you were asking, correct me if I'm wrong. It seems to me like, sure, you want to create a space where we can speak about these topics, but you really want to, it's about action, right? That's your that's your real
Aim.
quest, aim.
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't know if I have advice or a suggestion for you right now. I have to think about that a little. But
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to action, just in general, I have a suggestion for what is a good metaphor for taking
Mm-hmm.
action.
Mm-hmm.
Can I?
Please share.
Yeah. So action, we want it to be effective.
Mm-hmm.
So there are so many rules of the universe, right? As a physicist, it's like um, some like we all have limited energy, and we don't want to like waste it or pushing against a force that we can't push. Does that make sense? So what I'm saying is just like we want to be effective, okay? And we are effective when we don't spend our energy on blame, when we don't try to figure out who like okay, I'm just going to jump into the metaphor. If you walk somewhere in nature and you see trash, then you just pick it
Mm-hmm.
up. That's it. So it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't matter. Like I can be there and I can say, "Oh my God, who let this trash here?" And then maybe you have prejudice towards a group. Maybe you are an older person and you like, "Oh, this generation of today, they just leave their trash here." Or maybe you have prejudice towards a group of a certain country and you are like, "Oh, the neighbors, they are from this country, they let the trash here." But all of that is a waste of energy because the trash is there. The only thing that you can do is to pick it up. That's it. So that's my metaphor. My metaphor is that we all can do something by just keeping it simple and focus on our own action. So instead of talking about, someone else's house or someone else's stuff, it's like, no, just pick up the trash in your own house, pick up the trash, and then you can expand your territory, but just do it. That's it. That's my metaphor that I try to live by when it comes to action, instead of thinking about who did what and who's to blame. Yeah, that's it.
No, I was trying to, as you're talking, rapping now, singing that song because I think it's a nice one. We should record that one. Clean your, just pick up that trash, pick up that trash, and then, because what I got from your metaphor, um, it says, Zukisa, it's a good thing you are doing, but you can't do it on your own. It's an individual thing, and we can't blame people. That's not our aim. Let them see it themselves. Let them recognize things. Let them take action on their own, because that little action or the recognition that they have may be impactful also in their space, right? It's the same if in that metaphor I were to walk with you And then you are a person who always picks trash. And I'm like, I'm not dirtying my hands. There's corona. There's a lot of things happening with these hands. I'm not picking anybody's trash. But then walking with you, seeing you doing that, when I'm by myself alone one day walking and seeing that, I'm going to think of you. Let me just try it. You see, that's how life sometimes work, right? And also the physics that a metaphor you just made of the force, and thinking that when one pushes, the other has to also push back. And if you were to go to electronics, we'll talk of the resistance, because it's like the current that is moving, and then we have a resistance whereby it limits that force of energy to pass through. Then you're like, oh. Anyways, it's beautiful. Let's not go to physics now, because I also have my background there. I don't want to go there. So now
Next time.
we're gonna confuse a lot of other people who don't have that. But I know there's a lot to talk about, and I think if we may now look back at what we have said, just to summarize a little bit, correct me where I'm wrong. Um, we talked about who you are, what do you do, your coaching, and that's something also we're gonna go in details later on, because the idea of my podcast as well is to, like, people like you who have such things that they're doing, possibly that we can also put them out there. People know that Rafaela is doing these. Guys, wherever you are, you want to join this, is it possible? Just contact her. She will let you know. I don't know if you also teach. You can teach. I think your sport is difficult to teach online, right? Can you? Or except it's a basic training, but if it's a physical one, it's important. I don't know. But nowadays, everything is possible. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is that this podcast is also to give a space to such individuals who want to advertise their work, and also letting the world to know what they are doing. So you are welcome to send me some of the things or your links to your work or whatever that you do. Then hopefully that people, wherever where they are, they will show interest, and those that are close to you, they will come and join you and try and help you succeed with what you are trying to do. And those women out there that want to be the part of that, and they've been feeling all along that they didn't want to go to the club or to the gym whereby all genders were, but to find an opportunity to come to your space and being who they are. Please, I'm telling them now, go. Rafaela is waiting there for you with a beautiful big smile. You will be welcome there. All right, and then we went to your parents, them going to Germany, and you speaking Russian, and also having a Jewish surname, which is something we're not gonna go back into it now, because I still want to know that link and whatever the history of the Germans and whatever in Russia. But that's for podcast number two. And then we talked about you being an MMA, right? A professional, and you being a physician, teaching, stopping, changing careers. Like, yeah, I'm going to Costa Rica now is too much, and then you come back in Costa Rica. I don't want to be here. I want to go back to Germany because I'm from Germany. And then you are in Germany, and then you start to look around. Oh my goodness, we have enough diversity, but where are the Africans? I don't see them. And then we went to that. so, so
I have a story about that, but I will tell you next time.
yeah, sorry.
I said I have a story about that, but I will tell you next time.
What you tell me, that's a beautiful one. You know what? Let's keep that story so that they can tune in next time. Don't forget that
Oh,
story.
I won't.
What I would ask you to do for me is such things that keep on coming now that we've talked today, like this. I just caught you. Um, should there be things that are coming that are nice, you think like you'd love to talk about or share in the future, anytime you can just stay. So you can just book me up. We have this continuing. I know you go on holidays or whatever we see, and also we see what are the possibilities to try and make this live. That it's not like this, but should you find a time to say you can check it and book it now before your holidays. I think this time, and then let us see how, because I feel like there's a lot of information we can extract, and there's a lot of things we can learn from you. And it could be that we miss some of the things that are important you said due to this kind of remote podcasting that I don't love that much. Did I forget something in our summary? Yes, I
Um,
forgot something. We forgot to say Africans, Germany welcomes you. Go, go, go. We're missing you there. They're gonna
yeah,
hate me.
you will make fun about me about saying that for a long time now, but that's okay.
No,
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 I
it's
just
okay.
no. You didn't forget any. It's just that yeah. You said you were speaking about if I can teach you. Like I'm a coach, you know. Like I'm doing the archetypal somatics coaching. That's like the main thing that I practice and want to do. I am doing and want to do more. So that is also something that I can do online. But yeah, the martial arts I teach in person. So
Yes, 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 of course, yes, yes. All right, Rafaela, without wasting, taking too much of your time, one last words of advice, but before, there's something that I enjoy asking. Um, After all that we've talked about, after all your experiences, what did you, let's say in 30 years' time, or let's say you'd say, before I'm no longer here, I would like to see this or that, or what would you want? I want to ask this in different forms so that you can understand it in a bigger perspective. Like I'm watching this podcast today. Uh, I'm watching this podcast in 30 years. I'm a child today who just see this podcast online, and I'm thinking, what they're talking about. Oh, and now at that time, after 30 years, we have a lot of black people. Maybe Germany is completely black at the time. There's no white people anymore there. So, what would you want? What would you want to see, or what would make you happy, or why? How would we remember you out of this podcast
yeah,
in the future? Yeah, something like that.
yeah. Thank you. That is a great question. I love that question. So I would love for someone from all this whole conversation to take away maybe three things. One is that inaction is also an action, and that we all have a voice. We are all participating in the great collective. No matter, we can do it unconsciously, we can do it consciously, but we are participating. And we have a voice. That is the one thing. And then the other is, before we take action, it's important to do our inner work and really be conscious of, where am I coming from? Am I reinforcing this perpetrator, victim, rescuer triangle? Is my activism reinforcing the conflict? Am I blaming someone? Am I putting oil into the fire? Or can I act in a way that is actually helping everyone move forward?
Hmm. That's beautiful.
Yeah, and then the third one would just be, just pick up the trash. And that's
Pick
it.
up the trash. Pick up the
That's
trash.
it. That's
I
the
like that one.
message.
Pick up the trash. I think we should find a clip about that one. Pick up your trash. Pick up your trash, ladies and gentlemen. Pick up your trash. You've heard that. That is something I'm gonna make sure it is there, out there, and people know it. That's our slogan now in this podcast. Pick up your trash. Um, Rafaela.
Or even if it's not
Uh,
yours, that's also the thing. Sorry.
yes, yes,
Just
yes.
pick it
Just
up.
pick up the trash generally. Um, I should thank you very much. I know you are going on holidays this week or next week, very soon, though, right? Oh, you just came up from holidays, I think,
No,
yeah?
I just came. Yeah, yeah.
I just
I
came on
just came
holidays.
back from
No, but
holidays. Yes.
yeah, yeah. All right. Also, I should do a shout out to our common friend Hannah for making this possible. So that the day she watches it, she knows we never forgotten about her.
Yes.
Uh,
Shout out to Hannah. Thank you for
yes,
making this
yes.
connection between us. Yeah.
Yes. All right. We're gonna wrap it up, and before we do that, uh, do you want to say something to our audience, or you feel like you've said it all to those three things you just mentioned?
Yeah. Well, thank
Oh,
you for listening. I do feel like I've said it all. I appreciate um, that I was given the space here to share and to talk and to connect with you. And yeah, thank you, Zukisa, very much.
thank you. Thank you very much. Those are nice words. And what we're going to do now, we're going to wrap it up. And ladies and gentlemen at home, those who are listening, please support Hannah to what she does. And also don't forget to subscribe. The Equity Revolution, the more numbers we get, the better quality we would have. Because if we had more numbers now, maybe the numbers would have booked a flight for me to Germany or whatever the case was. But now we have to minimize the costs, right? I mean, I'm just around the corner. I would have just. Anyways,
We will
Hannah,
make it
thank you very
happen.
much. Yes, thank you very much. And for the rest, should we have any problems of missing something, I'm going to inform you. I'm just going to keep in touch with you up until the podcast goes live, so that should I have any other requests, please, hopefully you'll have time. But for the audio that we also recorded, that is in your site, please try to send that through. And thank you also for helping me up here. We have some technical issues here, ladies and gentlemen, with these podcast things online. Sometimes using this, it doesn't work, and she's very well known about this stuff. So thank you for that again, Rafaela, for helping. Ladies and gentlemen at home, we're gonna close here. If Rafaela has nothing else to say, Rafaela, you want to say something, or you want me to close it now? Are we tired now?
Thank you. I
Yes, we
mean,
are.
I can always keep talking, but I think for now
No,
I'm
no,
good.
no, 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 no. I think we've said it all.
I'm making a joke.
I
Thank you.
know.
It was
All
round
right.
up. I
All
appreciate
right.
it.
Ladies and gentlemen, this was the Equity Revolution podcast with Zukisa Nante and Rafaela in the house, and it will be coming very soon. We'll keep you informed. As for now, let us leave you with peace and harmony. We out of here.
Thank you.
All right, the rest now, this is gonna be cut off. I just personally want to say again, thank you,
Oh, thank
and
you.
I'll try and do my edits, and for the rest, I'll update you, and hope we see each other soon, and hopefully that in the future we may try and have a live one because it's very impactful, I think, a live one. But I respect the space, the internet space. But I mean, people who are close by, we should try and take the opportunity rather than to, if you were in the US or somewhere else, it's understandable. But just 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours away, it should be something that can be done. Anyways, keep up the good work and spread the word. And like you promised last time, the guy, and can be somebody else as well on top of the guy, people who are interested, you think that we can talk to just to find also more ideas, more views. And that will be very lovely, Rafaela. Thank you very, 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 very much.
Thank you very much as well. It was a great conversation. Yeah, I will send you an email with where people can reach me if they want to contact me or my work as a coach, and I think just an Instagram and my email or something. And then I will also send you the contact details for Patrick Helb. I already told him. So yeah,
Was
I
he
will do that.
excited?
Yeah, yeah, he's always. Oh, he loves to talk. He loves to share. He loves to
Was he also
speak.
black?
No, he's not black. He's German. He's white.
No, I'm good because I'm also not black. I'm glad we both not black. That's a good one. Yes, yes.
Why do you ask me like this? Oh my God. I mean,
No, it's a joke, eh?
I know, but it's just people speak like this, so you are
No, I
like
know.
it's good. Humor is important. You are exposing our conditioning that puts people into boxes.
Yes, and it's nice to just put it there the way it is so
That's
that we
right.
can
I
laugh
mean,
about it and
actually, Muhammad
recognize
Ali
it.
was
Yes.
saying that too. Do you
Yeah.
remember?
Ye-
Do,
Muhammad Ali?
yeah, yeah. He was complaining about people calling him black.
Ah, yeah, yeah, a lot of times that one,
Yeah,
and he
yeah.
was
It's
making
right.
it
You don't
clear that
say I'm German, so you are African. You're not
yes,
black. Is
yes,
that what you
yes.
mean?
Is that your question to me, or is it a question to Muhammad Ali?
No, that is my question to you. When you say that, that is what you mean.
No, 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 because I can't say you are German and then say I'm an African. Because then if I say I should say you are a European if I say
Well,
I'm
that's
an
true.
African.
Yes, I'm a European,
If
you're an African. I'm
yes,
a
if you say
German, you are in
German, I'm a South
South
African.
African.
Yes. So yes.
Did I offend you right now?
No, no, no.
Okay.
You know why?
No, this
No,
is
because the thing
difficult
is,
because in Germany or in the United States, speaking in English, right? I speak to a lot of people and they just say it like that. They say, for example, "Oh, I you are Iranian, you are German, I am black." They say it like that. They speak like that. Do you see what I mean? And when you consume a lot of content where people speak in this way, then it becomes just a normal way to speak, you know?
no, it is. That's what I'm trying to also see because we should recognize each other. Because if we recognize each other, that's when we respect one another. Should we not? That's when we start to keep things in ourselves, and that's when we like, okay, I'm not gonna pick that trash. It's not mine.
Absolutely. And you're right. Can I just say one more thing? Because I was speaking about how we don't have a lot of education about the continent of Africa, right? It has also to do with using this language because when I say you are South African, now I have like an image, right? Okay, maybe I know South Africa, maybe I know about apartheid, maybe I know the at least the main city or something. Do you see? Now it's much more like a connective. But we don't call other people like their skin color. Like you don't say, "Oh, I'm white," because who am I if I'm white? But you say, "Oh, I'm German." Okay, now she's German. She has this history. You can say, "What city are you from?" All of these things. So it is actually. I mean, truly, I just want to say, this conversation with you about just this wording. Um, I can really explain now why that's really important.
I'm glad to hear that. At least you learn something from the podcast as much as we learn a lot from
I
you.
learned a lot. Sorry, I hope I wasn't rude or anything. It's
No,
just,
no, 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 no. It's not rude because I love the fact that you said that because uh, we have a tendency that some people they think Africa is a country, not a continent.
no,
And
no, it's a continent. Yeah,
not
yes,
you. No,
yes.
no, 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 no. But they understand that, but that's how people speak.
Yes, you're right.
Generally, I've noticed over the years. Yes, so it's not like something that should be an offense to anyone. I hope no one is offended. It's not an offense to anyone. It's that's how it is. And some people they speak of what they've heard, not that they want to offend, but because they don't know. So the good thing is to let them know, right? Like we just did now, and that's beautiful. This
Great.
is behind the scenes, by the way, so don't worry about it. But one thing, if I find something nice about it, I'll make a clip. But this is behind the scenes.
Oh, no, no, maybe not. Now I'm embarrassed. But sure, this is behind the
No, no,
scenes.
no, no, no,
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
no, no.
that's
This is
okay.
behind the scenes. You
Yeah,
remember,
yeah.
we already closed the podcast,
Don't
eh?
worry. It's fine. Great. Okay, well,
No,
thank
but
you
it's
very much.
not.
Huh?
No, no, it's not. You shouldn't be. You should be proud of yourself to recognize that because what you just said, it's really what we just talked about. It's something beautiful, actually, and it's that's the reason we are here to learn people of these misunderstandings, what they
Yeah.
think, and it's a beautiful thing to say. Don't feel like that. No, 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 no,
That's
no.
true. No, you're
Yeah.
right. You're right. It is about, but it's really true. It has to do about identity, right? It has to do with not.
Yes.
It's really strange, but if you really speak about it in detail, it is kind of dehumanizing because every human has an identity, and you know what I mean. Like, but if you, it's kind of taking away something of that, right? Like, because it does not associate. Yeah. Anyway, you get what I mean. It's
Yes,
um
yes, I get you. I get you, no worries. Before you start to think a lot, go, 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 have
yes, I
fun,
have to
have your
go.
day. We are
Have
done.
a nice
Yes.
weekend, and we will stay in touch, and I'll send you an email,
Ye-
okay?
Yes, you too. Thanks
Thank you
again.
very much.
Bye. Bye
Bye.
bye.
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye. Bye.